Hello and welcome. You're listening to The Talent Sorted. Here we talk about the good, the bad, and the messy parts of talent acquisition, presented by Eximius, your co-pilot for smarter hiring. To break down today's topic, I'm handing it over to our virtual experts, Alex and Jamie. What's on the agenda today, guys?
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are taking on something that has really defined the professional world for the last few years, and not in a good way. The modern job search. If you've spent any time at all firing applications into, the void recently, you know exactly how brutal it can feel.
It's a bleak new age of hiring, isn't it? The sources we've gathered, they paint this really grim, but I think very recognizable picture. That feeling you have that your experience is just being swallowed by a black hole, it's completely valid.
Oh, it's so validated. Right there in the Eleanor Margolis Guardian article we looked at, she described this emotional collapse. When you apply over and over, and the words you're using, the semantics of it all, they just start to fall apart like a snotty tissue.
That's such a perfect metaphor. And that collapse, that feeling, it's tied directly to corporate dishonesty, which is maybe the most shocking thing we found. There's this one statistic. In 2024, 40% of companies posted listings for ghost jobs.
40%.
Positions that literally do not exist.
That is it's staggering. So nearly half of all job listings are fake. They're just there to, create the illusion that the company's doing well.
That, or to keep current employees from getting nervous, or just to stockpile resumes for some future job that might never appear.
It means that 4 out of every 10 times you apply, you were never even in the race to begin with.
Exactly. The human element is gone from the start. It's been replaced by these automated robot gatekeepers. The whole process is so mechanized now that the people who get through aren't necessarily the most qualified. They're just the best at gaming the system.
And everyone else is just left shouting into that digital void.
Right.
So, okay, here's our mission for this deep dive. We've seen the misery, the phantom jobs, the bots, the silence. Now we are going to pivot and look at a specific ethical AI platform. It's called Eximius, and it's designed from the ground up to fix these very problems.
The big question is, can it? Can a purpose-built AI actually take the soul-destroying chaos out of hiring?
Let's find out. But first, we have to understand why the old systems failed so badly.
Absolutely. It starts with a broken foundation.
Okay, let's unpack that. The broken process, it almost always begins with this fantasy candidate from the hiring manager, what the sources call Frankenjobs.
The Frankenjob, yeah.
You know the one. They're looking for a rock star or a unicorn, someone with deep SEO expertise, who's also a social media genius and a professional video editor.
And the salary is, what, £27,000 a year?
And the promise of a mediocre office coffee machine.
Exactly.
Well, that ill-defined requirement, that's really the seed of all the chaos that follows. If you look at the source material on the traditional recruiter workflow, it's just this long chain of complex handoffs. The VP wants someone, so HR drafts a vague job description.
Which multiple recruiters then upload into their applicant tracking system, the ATS.
Right, their giant database. Then they search their own contacts, post it on a bunch of different job boards, and then they have to manually sort through everything that comes in.
Just listing it all out is exhausting. It is. And that complexity, it just naturally encourages a shortcut. And that shortcut is the robot gatekeeper.
Which leads to candidates trying to game the system. I mean, you see it everywhere now. Reddit threads, articles, all teaching you how to beat the bots.
You have to stuff your CV with the right keywords. It's not about your actual skills anymore. It's about optimization.
It's this ridiculous linguistic arms race. You have to use the exact right magic words or your application just vanishes. It gets redirected into the ether because you use a synonym the bot didn't recognize.
And that's the crucial pivot. The problem isn't AI itself. It's the old, dumb automation.
It's just keyword matching.
Simple keyword matching. Legacy systems playing a giant, unfair game of bingo with your career. That's the black box. And that's what a tool like Eximius as an ethical AI is built to fix.
Okay, so this is where the solution starts to map onto the problems. Let's take those 3 big pain points we identified, ghost jobs, keyword gaming, and the ether of silence, and see how Eximius actually claims to fix them.
Sounds good.
So, first up, pain point 1, ghost jobs. All that wasted time. If companies are just posting jobs to hoard resumes, how do you remove that incentive?
You make the process so efficient that hoarding becomes pointless. It's all about speed. A recruiter just inputs the basic details of the role. The tool automatically generates a comprehensive, well-structured job description. Then, and this is key, it integrates with their existing ATS through webhooks.
That's a real-time data flow.
Exactly. It aggregates and analyzes profiles incredibly quickly.
So the system is just built for speed from the get.
Yes, the entire process, creating the JD, pulling profiles, analyzing them, scoring them, it all happens so fast. It basically eliminates the need for a company to post a fake job just to look busy or build a database for later.
If you can get a real shortlist in, say, 24 hours.
Then the incentive to post a fake job just evaporates. You move straight to filling a real need.
That's a huge shift in behavior, driven purely by the technology. Okay, let's tackle pain point 2. Keyword gaming. The absurdity of having to convince a bot you're qualified. How does Eximius stop good people from getting filtered out because they said oversaw instead of managed?
This is where the tech upgrade is just. It's massive. The key phrase the sources use is advanced contextual matching. It goes way beyond simple keywords.
So how does that actually work? Is it like a really smart thesaurus?
It's more sophisticated than that. Think about how a search engine, understands what you mean even if you phrase something weirdly. Eximius uses something called vector embeddings.
A vector embedding. Okay, break that down for us.
Essentially, it turns the idea of a skill, let's say managing complex projects, into a mathematical coordinate on a giant map. It reads everything on your CV, and it understands that let a team of 5 developers and oversaw the department's technical rollout occupy the same functional space on that skills map.
So it's not looking for the exact words, it's looking for the underlying meaning.
Exactly. It scores you on the substance, on your actual competencies. It generates match reports, scores, even a shortcomings analysis. It judges your aptitude, not your ability to guess a buzzword.
Which means skilled people don't get rejected for a simple semantic slip-up.
Precisely.
Okay, that brings us to pain point 3. And this is maybe the most damaging one emotionally, the ether of silence. Our sources said only about 1 in 5 applicants even get a rejection email. For most people, it's just nothing.
And Eximius is designed to solve that with radical transparency. It's a core part of its ethical AI philosophy. The system isn't just there to sort, it's there to explain.
Okay, transparency sounds great, but let's be cynical for a minute. If Eximius gives candidates an assessment report with clear reasons for rejection, doesn't that just give people a new instruction manual on how to game the system? Are we just swapping keyword stuffing for assessment report optimization?
That's a really good question, a crucial one. The difference is that this feedback isn't about phrasing. It's based on genuine skill gaps. It's tailored. It's actionable. It might say something like demonstrated lack of project management experience or scores low on cross-functional communication. It's feedback focused on skills you can actually learn, not just words you can copy and paste. It's much harder to trick a system that measures competency.
And that transparency is only possible because of the AI assessment itself. Which brings us to the most controversial part of this whole thing, the AI interviewer. The idea of getting a link for an AI-based voice or chat assessment instead of talking to a person, it just sounds terrifyingly impersonal.
It absolutely does. It brings up an immediate feeling of dread, and for good reason. We've all heard the horror stories about biased algorithms. The source material even mentions that scrapped Amazon algorithm that sometimes favored men because it was trained on historical data from a male-dominated field. So, the risk is real.
Right. So how can Eximius possibly argue that replacing a human with an AI for that first screen is actually more ethical?
The argument comes down to consistency. A human recruiter might have biases, conscious or unconscious, based on someone's accent, their appearance, maybe even just the kind of day they're having.
Sure.
The system applies the exact same objective, measurable criteria to every single candidate, every single time. It promotes consistency and fairness.
So the argument isn't that the AI is perfect, it's that it's reliably consistent.
Exactly. And there are 2 other big benefits for the candidate. 1, it removes things like appearance or accent bias from that crucial first screen. And 2, you can complete the assessment at your convenience. If you work a night shift or you have kids at home, you don't have to scramble your schedule for a 15-minute call. It offers flexibility.
You're trading the risk of subjective human bias for statistical fairness.
That's a good way to put it.
So this sounds like it completely restructures the job of a recruiter. I mean, you're automating the entire daily grind of sifting and sorting. So what's left for the human to do?
This is key. Eximius is framed very clearly as a co-pilot, not a replacement.
A co-pilot.
It automates the drudgery, the JD writing, the profile sorting, the scoring, the initial outreach. But it keeps the human recruiter focused on the high-value parts of their role.
Which is the human connection, the relationship building, the negotiation.
Absolutely. The source states the recruiter is always in the driver's seat for making any final decision. The AI provides the data, the match reports, the skill gap analysis, the scores. But the human interviews the shortlist, builds that relationship, and negotiates the fit with the hiring manager.
The AI handles the mechanics, the human handles the nuance.
The things that software just can't replace.
And that's the key takeaway for you listening to this. The goal of a system like Eximius is to streamline the process for businesses by handling the mechanical analysis. It lets the human element, the recruiter, shift their focus entirely to the final, crucial decision. It aims to remove the misery and put the focus back on connection.
Which leaves us with a pretty important question to think about. If AI can perfectly filter candidates based on their actual skills, does the future of the recruiter lie entirely in negotiation and relationship building? What new set of soft skills does a human recruiter need to prioritize when their AI co-pilot is handling all the initial analysis? That's something to mull over as you think about the future of work.
Indeed. Until next time, stay well informed.